This is me and my motorcycle. And this is Thomas and his motorcycle. We have decided to go on a road trip this spring. His Yamaha Tenere is in excellent condition. My old Cagiva, not so much. I have a long list of things I need to do. Can I manage to get it fixed in time to the trip? In my previous video, I replaced the original rusty old exhaust with this new shiny one. It was a great success, except my to-do list. It went from 35 to 36 tasks because new problem occurred during the job. One of the new tasks was the need of a heat shield. So I made one. I used a 1mm aluminium plate, added some bends and glued on a heat protective mat on the back side. I also made a spacer in aluminium so I can use the original mounts. I think it fits pretty nice. Cover up the exhaust pipes and protects the driver from the heat. And then I'm back to 35 remaining tasks on my list. Exhaust heat shield done. Great! And today I will be doing a job that I have been looking forward to, because I will be improving the one thing I hate more than anything else on a motorcycle. Not quite sure why this bothers me so much. Probably because this is a problem I've had on all my motorcycles. Even my very first motorcycle. I was only 13, maybe 14, when I found my father's old motorcycle tucked away in our garage. It was just like this one. NSU quickly from 1950s. As you can see, it was an early hybrid. Now, not gas-electric hybrid, but gas man-powered bicycle hybrid. But it did not look like this. It looked like this. It was not only rusted, but the engine was stuck, wheels were crooked, it was just a mess. I worked on it for days, weeks and months, and one day I finally managed to fire it up. It was so joyful. Jumped on the bike and I ride it downhill from my house to the main road. But as I turned around and drove back uphill, I learned how an engine works when it has no compression. Uphill, I had to pedal it like a bicycle, like a very heavy bicycle. But I continued to work on it until I was 16, old enough to ride legally a moped on the main roads. And then I bought a Suzuki ER50 from the 80s. Yeah, I never managed to get the old NSU in a decent condition. It was just too far gone for me with my limited skill back then. So what am I hating so much? Rust. Rust is, in addition to not looking good at all, it's a symbol of poor maintenance, problems, and eventually failure. Well, here I am again with an old motorcycle with rust. But this time I will fix it and I will get rid of all the rust eventually. Replacing the exhaust was a great step in the right direction. Next now on my to-do list is to service the rear brakes, and all the parts I remove, I will not put them back on if they are rusty. I will not only clean them, but I will also have to rust-proof them. And I have prepared a little secret on how to do that. I guess it's just to start taking everything apart. I've actually not taken off the rear wheel. So this is the first time I'm trying it. The front wheel I've taken off, and the main axle, the wheel axle, was stuck on the front. So yeah, maybe it's the same here. Okay, and this brake caliper also seems to be... Okay, I need more beefy tools. So let's try this one. And our extender. I'm just bending the tool. Okay, another trick here is to use this bit and then an extension on this one. Well, this was supposed to be an easy job to service these brakes, take everything apart. It seems now like actually the whole brake caliper comes loose when taking off the wheel. So I assume these bolts has never been off, but I think we can slide off the brakes from the bracket, or even just leave it there, of course, and service the brakes with the bracket on, but these are rusted. I need to take them off. Let me see what happens now when I try to just take off the wheel. Not too bad. First two items to be rust treated. This was not bad, not rusted at all actually. Well, you learn as long as you live. I have a couple of other motorcycles. None of them has a nut here you need to loosen, but this is probably an adventure thing. Another rusted bolt. That means the wheel might just drop down now, as I am lowering this. If it can fit in between. There, this came loose. Plenty of nice grease in there. I think I'll just have to lift the bike higher to get the wheel out of here. Okay. That was easy peasy. Then I would like to take off the caliper and make sure everything is fine here and rust protect anything that can be rust protected. So it seems like I can unscrew this totally, all the way, and then probably press this bolt out. Another piece here that needs rust removal and rust protection. I will change the brake fluid, so maybe I should just take off this and easier understand what's going on with these bolts. Another piece that also needs rust protection. I'll just carefully put on this. brake fluid is no fun.
I had already inspected the rear brakes and I thought they were decent, but as I took it apart, one of the brake pads actually fell off. So I really need new brake pads, and more of the parts here are really stuck. I'm adding on some oil here now and let it sit the night over. Hopefully I can get it loose. And then I'm ordering new parts from, of course, Vincent at cagigaparts.eu. I ordered a new brake disc, brake pad and brake pad kit. All the other parts here I need to disassemble, clean them and rust protect them. The rear frame is actually in very good condition. It's aluminium, no rust there. Just some cleaning is needed.
It's the next day. All the parts are cleaned, prepared and sorted. This is the good section. These parts are either good to go, put back on the bike, like look at this sprocket, isn't it nice? Put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, 10 minutes later, came out perfect like this. Some parts here will be replaced, like this one, of course. So no work, just waiting for the shipment with new parts. This middle section needs more work. Rust removal and then rust protection. In addition, I will paint the brake caliper and put it all the pieces back. And this caliper bracket holder definitely needs more work. I still haven't got out these bolts. I want to rust protect them as well. And according to the schematics, it should be possible to remove them. They are just stuck. This is the worst part. I haven't even started on this. I would like to just clean up the wheel before putting it back. And this is the brake master cylinder for the rear brakes. It works fine. I won't disassemble it. Just clean it up, making it look a bit more decent. I'll focus on this middle section now. Can I get these bolts out? And this bolt has now had a lot of oil, the grease, been through the ultrasonic cleaner, so maybe it's looser now. Yes. Something has helped. It was not that hard now to get out. This bolt definitely goes into the batch for rust removal. Oh, that was scary. It has actually moved a bit. Yes, there it is, but very hot. I was afraid I was never gonna get these parts apart. Parts apart? Yeah, parts apart. But you know, you should never underestimate the value of a heat gun. It became so hot I even had to wear a welding glove to hold this piece. Then, rust removal. And then it's time for the rust protection. I've prepared my kit here upstairs in my chemistry room. And what I will be doing is to zinc plate to rust protect these metal parts. And here is my setup. It's self-composed, not bought any kit. Everything is from the local hardware store. And for me that is Biltema. That's what we use here in the Nordics. And let me just give you a quick overview over what this is. All the boxes bought from Biltema. The first one is like cleansing the part before the electrolyte bath, where all the magic happens, where you provide the sink to the parts. And then just regular tap water here. We have such a nice water here in Norway, so just using regular water to cleanse everything when you're done. Acetone to degrease the parts, and here is demineralized water from Biltema, just to get the parts as clean as possible. And I have to wear proper gloves, also from Biltema, to make sure you don't have fat grease from your hands on the parts when you put them into the bath, where the magic happens. And this smells nice. This is vinegar. 12% vinegar from Biltema. 1 part of the vinegar and 2 part of this demineralized water. So it's a 4% concentration vinegar. That seems to work fine. Then I have added salt. This is not from Biltema. This is from this nutrition health shop, Sunkost. It's called here in Norway, Epsom salt. About 100 grams to make the water electricity conductive. So yeah, and also the sink I'm putting in here, also bought from Biltema. This is from the boat section, used on both as a sink anode to prevent both from rusting. This seems to work fine. They don't give a very shiny finish, more about that later, but they will give rust protection. You also need a power supply. This one is pretty handy because I can control exactly the amperage. I've already tested these 2 pieces and it worked great.
I just gotta add a short comment here. As you can see, the pieces are very dull when they come zinc plated. So what you're gonna do is to polish them to get them a bit more glossy. But of course you cannot polish too much because the zinc layer is very, very thin. I don't want to have a chrome finish anyway. I am satisfied with a greyish metal-like satin look, as long as it's rust-free and rust-protected.
And my secret setup here, I think, is to calculate the surface of the thing you are gonna electroplate. For instance, this one, it is 7 centimeters and 3.5 centimeters. So if you calculate the total, back and the front, it is a total of 49 square centimeters, or 490, almost 500 square millimeters. So you need to do some math. Calculate, what are you gonna zinc plate? Here you have 500 square millimeters. Then you just multiply that with 2 and you get 1000, and that is 1000 milliamperes. And you can see here I have 900. I tuned it down a bit just to be on the safe side. And that is the power that is needed to coat this with zinc. So what I'm doing, I'm putting this in here, putting power on it. I'm putting the positive on this. So think of it almost like a motorcycle. Maybe I should put on the gloves. Yeah, because this is acid. So these zinc anodes are now positively charged. And then I need to ground the part that I will be plating. So I have this across here, and I have the negative on that one. And then I have some copper wires here, and I need to, let's say I want to plate this one, I can maybe do it like this. And I have to get it down into the acid here and hang it up on the wire. And then I put negative on the part, grounding the part, putting positive power to the zinc anodes, and the zinc will go into the coat this metal piece. Yeah, that is the theory. Of course, I need to test it to see if it really works. But these test pieces I already tried came out pretty decent, I think. This is the first time I'm trying it, so maybe I shouldn't give you any advice yet. And I think this is where I leave you this time, and I'll come back pretty soon with my follow-up video. I need to wait for the parts anyway from Cagiva parts. Just come back in some days and you will see how this all goes, and leave me a comment if you want a deep dive into this. Hope to see you back later.